I think since March or so, or maybe April, I have been using it for myself and mainly for precautionary purposes. And so, of course, not everybody in the family has been applying it. So it's mostly me and my son who kind of used to use it. And so that's how I got introduced. And I mean, since then, I have used it and I have given it to several, I think, tons of people, and uh, everybody who's used it has benefited, and kind of symptoms have kind of they've recovered in about, let's say, 4, 5, 6 days. No, she had sore throat and fever. Fever used to hover. I think max it ever got was about 100.5, but it was mostly between 9900. So she had fever for 2 days. And since the very first day she started using the oil, because I had been using it prior to that. So she started using it 6 times a day. And so after 2 days, there was no fever, there was nothing, there was no sore throat after 2 days. So for all practical purposes, if the doctor had not advised us, we would have no. I mean, we would not have even gotten tested because everything was fine after 2 days. But then the doctor said that okay, at times what happens is that you just get symptoms for 2 days, but then you kind of test positive. So on the fifth day we got tested, and then she came out positive. And then of course we had to go through the entire 17 days of quarantine. So actually our quarantine lasted for 21 days because we were even prior to getting tested, 4 days we were in quarantine. I mean, so we had kind of shifted her to a separate room altogether.
Mm-hmm.
And during this entire 17 days, I mean, she had been applying the oil for about, in the initial 3, 4 days, it was 6 times a day. And then when symptoms were not there, then about 4 times a day. So for all practical purposes, after 2 days, she was fine. There was no real symptom after 2 days. There was no fever. There was no sore throat. Yes, there was in between some cough, but nothing alarming. In the sense that she did, after a few days, she did get some cough, but nothing alarming. And then even the cough went away after,
Oh.
I think, 2 days. No, it was pretty relaxed. To be honest, I mean, getting stressed was no real solution. Yeah, and of course, I think it was relaxed more so because nobody had, I mean, touch wood, nobody had very serious symptoms. So it was like, for all practical purposes, it was like my daughter used to say that it was probably apart from the fact that she didn't really switch on the AC air conditioning during that time for I think about week 10 days, because I mean everybody was telling that okay, in case you are COVID, then you shouldn't be in an air conditioner or whatever. So I didn't even know that she didn't have the air conditioner on. But I think we just kept our calm, and I think maybe why we were able to keep our calm was because touch wood, the symptoms were not very serious. So it was like it was like it was like a holiday for everybody except me because I was the one who was servicing. I mean, each one of them in their respective rooms. No, we haven't tested positive, but then we got our antibodies done. So the three of them have antibodies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I mean, in fact, the moment my wife got positive, so our logical conclusion was that it was on 4th of July. So till 3rd of July, late night, we were all together. So if in case anything had to happen, would have happened by then. So we said that irrespective of whether we are positive or we are not positive, let us all apply oil. So I had talked to Nishant, and we'd ordered about 4 sets of oils, and then each one had their own set inside the room. And so they did apply the oil. So the three of them did have antibodies, and I did not have. So I don't know. But my son, yes, he did get tested on the fifth day because he for one day he did have a sore throat and fever about 99.2. But that was only for one day. And then on the fifth day when he got tested, it was negative.